quality is really good. You know anything about that?
Last year, I bought paint at Gunsams for the inside of the house and it looks great.
Do they have paint for the outside too?
Yes, Gunsams has paint for the inside, outside concrete and galvanized roof and floors.
You convinced me. I think I'm going to try Master Paint. I sure hope I get a good price.
Well, you won't be disappointed. They have 15% win right now.
Only 15% discount? I could get higher discount somewhere else.
Hold on, friend. Remember, all discounts are not alike. That counts. Go to Gunsams for the best quality paints.
Visit Gunsams Hardware on Granby Street between the NIS car park and KCC.
Play for and win even four numbers from 0 to 9 and $5,000 in line. They score. There'll be lots of cash waiting for you. Check today. Go get your tickets. It's so easy to play. When you play for, you win even more.
Good. This agent at Hollywood for the past 25 years.
25 years. Great. So, Jackie, tell us, what makes an excellent front desk agent?
I love my job. As a service provider, I'm always polite to customers. I'm very helpful and I smile a lot. You know, visitors as well as locals feel very welcome when you treat them with respect and concern for their welfare.
Very true. We all need to look at it that way.
Yes, you see, tourism is everyone's business. You've
volcanic eruptions, floods, hurricanes, contractors all risk, and more. We cover all classes of motor vehicles and heavy equipment. Century Insurance. Our representative, Mr. Jason Sargent, in the Bayshore Mall in Beckway at 454-4260. Century Insurance. We protect you.
It's fast. No waiting. Easy to play. You can win instantly. Available at all auto agents from Tuesday, November 21st.
Saturday, November 11th, the Victoria Park comes alive for the biggest gospel show to ever come to the shores of SVG. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Gospel Explosion Mega Concert featuring the Queen of Gospel. Vincy International Gospel Sensation, Bridget Blucher. And one of Trinidad's biggest gospel sensations, Blessed Messenger. This is going to be one powerful event. Get your $25 and $35 tickets now and get ready to sing out your heart. Get ready to make a joyful noise inside Victoria Park. SVG Gospel Explosion Mega Concert is brought to you by New Life Promotion and Andrews Bascom and proudly sponsored by Digicel, Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Vitamalls, Husky Water, La View, Gate 3, Zest Cola, Juicy, Denobregas, and Frosty Dream.
All right, well, that was supposed to be last Saturday, right? But rain came. Rain had its say, and show had to be postponed. But Bridget Blucher, she's still here. The other fella from Trinidad, he's still here. Christian Marshall, he here this morning. I don't know if he going later. He needs the blessing, so I expect him to be there. Good morning to you, man. How are you doing?
Let me sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. Let me sit down.
You don't see it.
Yeah, right. So I say it down. I say it down. I say it down. Yeah, I was listening to oh no, I saw something on Ronnie Richardson's Instagram, I believe it was, where I learned for the first time yesterday that the show is actually today, because well, naturally it couldn't happen on Saturday night with all the rain and so forth. So, listen, guys, go out and get this thing done. Go out and support this thing. Christians, go out and get your blessing on and get your praise on. You know what I'm saying? The last time I saw Bridget Blucher, I was at Steel Expressions.
That's
and
correct.
Boy, did those Christians represent. They came down front, man. They came down front. So I expect tonight to be a massive expression of praise and worship in the park. So go out and do your thing, all right? Good morning to you wherever you are listening to our program today. If you're coming in, if you're caught in the traffic this morning, coming into work, good morning to you. If you're heading out of town because you're walking out of town, good morning to you. If you're not working at all and you are just going home, or you're in the lands, or wherever you are, good day to you. Those online and those online who don't shout we up. So we're talking about El Kata and Daki, Faye, Val Tucker, Phyllis, Tammy. Good morning, Narissa. Good morning to you, Scoopers, the Scoop family. Those who are locked on and haven't said anything yet, good day to you as well. By the way, the other day I asked Val for an update on her mom's going home service, mom's burial, and she said it was it's the 2nd of December. So and that been Shatterblade. So listen, those of you who let me show some support to Val from the Scoop, you know what I mean? I would tell her we're going carpool, but now it's okay because I own me. So I ain't ready with nobody. I want nobody ready with me, because when I leave in. And suppose I said I don't want to leave, I sleep at home by your mother. Right. So I ain't kind of soul, but I'll go meet a shot to believe. Right. Then I need to call Joshua Center.
Right.
Because I have to do a contraction.
A contract.
Yeah.
Right.
Boy, Eddie boy, we are going boy in already. Boy, I need to get to school for the bathroom. We need to do a contraction, because I find, we need to do a contraction for that. So you give all of me a boy. And then, boy, I got to tell you, boy, you could get out of that Joshua Center. Let me give me your ATM card. Let me go take out the money. You're coming back. Oh, it's one of my favorite ads, by the way. I just find it so funny, so hilarious. And that's the thing about advertisements. They make an imprint on you and they stick it, so they always in your head, So beautiful. And then I even a break a while ago. What about?
What you clip? No, I was just listening to something online there. But I noticed Vinci saying the 3 most mentioned words in the Vinci vocabulary. The 3 R's. Ralph, road, and rum.
Ralph.
3 most mentioned words.
And rum.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Is that true?
Well,
what do you think?
I think they're almost there.
Ralph on the road, I guess. But rum?
That's why I said they're almost there.
I believe in this era of accusations, I believe Distillery paying Vinci Hughes some money. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. So he will start to talk about rum plenty and Vinci Hughes. And he getting cussed out. He getting cussed all out. That page getting the most cussed out. How come? That's a guy in the state, is Canada, I believe. Oh my Lord, put some word. Van Vinci Hughes. Oh my word. The man say all this is that what? The man say all this is eyewitness news. That's it. He said nobody, if you taking Vinci Hughes serious, he ain't taking you serious. Let's expand Vinci Hughes. But it's a good thing that nobody never accused me of being behind Vinci Hughes now. And I feel bad because I want to be accused. I want attention like some people. So why don't it cost me? And then, anyway, let me stop because no, actually I don't want attention at all. I'm sorry. FC, you want some rum? Well, Ev, tell me what you're willing to do now so we could organize it for you. No problem. No problem at all.
One fellow we ain't getting rum too. Well, he banned for the season. Yeah, I ain't calling no name. It's my friend. Yeah?
Well, I start to laugh because I figure I know we're getting banned. I think I know we're getting banned. But well, Nevis seems to agree that is rum. You know, so because they feel it's not at carnival time.
Yeah,
I guess carnival is synonymous with rum and woman. So a lot of these songs are either about rum and woman. And for those of you who in the back, rum cheaper than woman. So oh, I couldn't believe the that was pretended to be caused by this song. Which some people tried to be. Anyway, let me leave it at that. So what are you talking about this morning, David?
Well, Sion, you know, this government, the two largest capital projects ever to be undertaken in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines thus far, and two significant projects in the whole matter of sustained economic activity, and of course, putting us in a position where we see more visitors and goods and services coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and you know, things of that nature. But the construction of the Argyle International Airport, ULP did it. The doctors say it could not have been done. They spoke about the wind shifter. They talk all kind of craziness. Now we're constructing a modern port in Kingstown.
Port will look lovely,
right? And I've seen something there on I think it was Facebook saying that it's about 50% completed in terms of what's taking place. But you know that this is kind of quietly just happening in the heart of our capital, in the heart of Kingstown. And it is a testimony, first and foremost, the hard work of this government to ensure that there are projects and programs there to transform the lives of our people. Whilst on the other hand, there are those, what Fitz Bramble say? I see Fitz Bramble giving some kind of figures thing on Facebook. Well, we ain't gonna go there this morning.
Well, here's my advice to you with Fitz Bramble. Here's my advice to him. If Fitz Bramble is irrelevant even within the NDP,
don't say that about my partner.
Let's not make him relevant in the ULP. If you want to come over, then come over.
It's my friend, it's my friend.
But lad,
we
it's
friend.
my friend. It's my friend. It's me. And I
just leave him to eat the dolphin by himself.
I just tell him to listen. I say, Fitz, but that's what you do over there. The guy is clearly, but if he, you know what, he's committed, and I respect that. He's committed to his party. He's committed to his, you know, to whatever it is he sees as his mission within the NDP. So he's strong and he's faithful. But as a boss, clearly, the guys don't appreciate your presence in the party. What you doing there? Why edge up under them so? When you go ahead and say yes.
Well, you know, I'm making the point that the construction of the modern port in Kingstown, another showpiece done under this Unity Labour Party government. We have a port in Camden Park that right now as I speak to you, how old is that port?
What, 30-something years?
Yeah. Not in the best of condition.
Yeah, falling apart.
Right? The main port has been with us for the past 60 plus years, and it has served this country. And very, very importantly, the government has seen it fit to build a new port, but just not to build a normal, regular port like how they squinge up the cruise ship terminal up there. You know? You see how it squinge up? Right?
I'm not sure some of our younger listeners understand that term.
Squinge up.
So you may need to explain that. Go in the book of Vinci dialect chapter 1 and tell us what squinge up means, Denny. Because listen, they are young, they are children and teenagers in their parents' car right now going to school or whatever with the parents. I know squinge up. Yeah.
I think that word is still around.
Yeah, you're using it. It's still around between people like me and you of that generation. What you about squinge up? Oh my Lord.
Squeeze up. Jump up in a corner.
Right.
They can understand that.
Right.
Right. But yes, we're now seeing a modern facility that is not just being built for today, but definitely for tomorrow, placing us in a position where we here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines might very well be a hub for ships coming through the Atlantic, coming up from South America. Because, by the way, there's only, apart from Jamaica, tell me about another port in the region that can take the capacity in terms of ship and cargo that we're presently constructing here in St. Vincent. Sian, you know about any other port?
No.
All right. So you
Jamaica,
see what
Jamaica port.
Jamaica. As a matter of fact, vehicles now coming in from China, they don't come directly to us. They go up the road, Jamaica, and they land them there, and then they bring them along the road. And that's how it's happening. But we are now having a situation where, with the construction of this modern port in this little land of ours, of course, the whole matter of job creation is very much important, and there are hundreds of intentions gainfully employed with the construction of that port. But very importantly, as I said, not just being done for the day, not just being done, as some will say, an election gimmick, because everything the government do is a gimmick, Whether it's one day after the election or, election gimmick. But this is a project that will serve generations to come in this country. And very importantly, as I said, placing us in a position that we become a main transshipment port within the region. Little St. Vincent and the Grenadines we're talking about. And when that happens, the amount of money to be made with the cargo ships that are going to be moving in and out of this country. It's just absolutely remarkable, when I sit back and think about, what is really unfolding before our very eyes, right? Meantime, there are those who wrap up themselves in the whole matter of entertainment because they can't be serious about the whole matter of governance here in this country of ours, right? And Ralph Gonsalves and the Unity Labour Party continues to deliver to the people of this country. Never. I mean, it's 23 plus years. But there are those who talk about money in the back pocket. When it came to the whole matter of airport construction, it never happened. It never materialized. It took Ralph Gonsalves and the Unity Labour Party to do so. And we're seeing what's happening already. Minister Carlos James, Honorable Minister of Tourism, World Travel Show, saying to us that very soon, Virgin Atlantic, they're going to be having 3 weekly flights coming into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they are in the process of having discussions with other airlines. Why? To increase the number, or should I say the airlift capacity coming into St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's what's happening. All of that's taking place because of the construction of the Argyle International Airport. Sandals Resort, March 27th, 2024. I wonder what happened on March 28th, 2024.
With the official opening.
With the official opening, right? And the day after, big kaboom. March 28th, 2024. Significant date, right? But I'm making the point that the projects done, the 2 major projects undertaken by this government. Sinclair Leacock once asked the question if the airport will pay for itself. Well,
odd question.
We already seen the benefits with Sandals, with other hotel construction that is taking place. The hotel in Rattamil, we call it there again, up on the hill, Royal Mill. The Holiday Inn under construction, moving along. That's a serious space. And there's more to come with the Marriott, and of course, not forgetting what's happening down there in Peter's Hope. So, projects that have transformed, literally, the game-changing or changers happening for us here in this country of ours under this Unity Labour Party government. And the port is going along quietly. But I like the fact that there are those, of course, who, whether on social media or otherwise, see it fit to certainly share with the rest of the country what is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And my third ocean is that the government of the day has made governance look so easy, right? That the whole matter of building that port in Kingston, which is very important to the economy of this country, people just see, oh, it's just another project taking place, are not realizing the magnitude of how that particular project is going to positively impact us going forward here in this country. It's just absolutely remarkable, But put them in and you can see what happens. Just put them in.
Danny, if I may, right? Because you started by speaking about the two largest capital projects ever in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I would submit today, let me talk about today. I would submit today that when you look at by 2025, 2026, when you look back at the work of the ULP, you'd find that all of the major capital projects in this country were done by the ULP. All of them. Because remember, coming on stream soon is $100-something million hospital.
Exactly.
You understand? Now, you could look back under the NDP's tenure, and you would struggle to find a major capital project done on the NDP that is still viable and that was sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
You can't point to Watley Hall. You can't point to the airport on Beckway. The wharf that they constructed, inadequate. Inadequate 30 years later. So that you get the sense that whatever they constructed, whatever they did, whatever they sought to implement was riddled with inefficiencies and most likely due to corruption. So that we have the man sing 5 in a row and nothing to show. After 17 years of the NDP that ended in 2001, what do we have to show? That is something that remained, that is working for Vincentians. What? The financial complex? What? What? Tell me. Because, like Denny said, inadequate airport, inadequate seaport, inadequate education system, inadequate healthcare system. I mean, you extend the hospital and put it over a gutter so it could flood every time it rains. I mean, please, I don't want to be unfair to them. I want you to tell me, point to a sustainable major capital project done by the NDP. Oh, I could probably say North Leeward Highway. Don't know how much that cost. Don't know if it costs $100 million. I really don't know. I really don't know. But that is the problem that we have. And so it is easy for us now to look at things and say the largest capital project, the second largest capital project, the third largest capital project. Because you're going to talk about airport, seaport, acute referral hospital.
Non-medical.
That's the point. You could talk about the Rabaka Bridge. Yeah? And you could talk about any number of projects. The Canawan Jetport.
That's gone.
That was us too.
Yeah.
People forget that. That was us.
Close to what, $50 million US?
That was us.
Yeah.
So you look at the capital projects of this government over the last 22 and a half years, and you marvel. And then people say,
not bad.
I use this when I'm here.
Not bad. We have a call coming through, so let's take our first call of the morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Morning.
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 It's just a handful of people saying that,
But they're loud.
but they're loud.
But they're loud.
Yeah, and we know what they're using to get the message across. But you're saying that NDP didn't do no major projects in St. Vincent?
No, I'm asking.
They did two major projects in St. Vincent. When one was completed, the second one was completed. You know what it did?
Tell us.
That ugly monster in the center of Kingston. Was the major project.
After 17 years, that's a major capital project?
I told somebody that if I had money like Bill Gates, I would just go into one day and just get people to push it out in the sea. They build it, and the people don't even want to go in it now. But that was one of the major projects. Remember how they carry on over that market there?
Yep.
Oh, it was for poor people. They built it for poor people. But the poor people don't even want to go in there. And they just talk about dictatorship, Sion. The Prime Minister's a dictator, and he's this and he's that. We lived in this country for 17 years under dictatorship. No dogs back. Because when they said they were going to do, and I talking everything you want, I wrote some breadfruit to go to America, so I have much time. Pay me. They always talking about consult with the people and consult with the people. This government must consult with the people. If they're going to drain outside somebody gate, you have to consult with people now. The 17 years under that government, tell me what project in this country did they consult people on? You know what they did? Whatever little thing they do, and they put it there. Don't open your mouth to say one thing. People in this country were dumb for 17 years. All of a sudden now, the government must consult with this one and consult with that one and educate this one. Who they were consulting? They consulted anybody? When they took
let me remind you, because I'm not snaggy listening. Remember, Mitchell went to Canada and said, I am talking on behalf of St. Vincent, and I'm talking on behalf of the investor. That is consultation for you. That is consultation for you. If I lie from snaggy. If I lie from snaggy.
But we just hear him all the time, and we don't hear him enough. We don't hear him enough on the radio station. Let me tell you something. All of them sat down. All of them sat down. And not one of them opposed what he said. And when one man tried to say something, you remember what snaggy happened to him?
Yep.
But what is going on today now? The magician that the Prime Minister is supposed to fix that problem down there. They didn't see it was going to be. When he went down to consult with them, they didn't want the consultation at that time. They tell him, don't come in the yard, right? But I'm not one consultation now. Tell me, they used to fly out and fly in this country, and nobody know when they're going, nobody know when they come in. But if the Prime Minister go around the corner to do what he is supposed to do by the corner, you have to tell them. it's called consultation. When he say doing something, he doing it. Whether you oppose yes or no, it was being done. And nobody go out in no gallery and slept for 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 months and harass anybody. But all of a sudden now, the Prime Minister must consult this and consult that. They didn't even know they were under dictatorship. For 17 years in this country, we had it. Everything has been broadcast live and direct now. They've had a press secretary.
They've had press conferences. Hold on, they've had press conferences.
What that's the point?
You forget Nolly threatened to lock up Glenn Jackson for recording parts of the parliament.
Yeah.
Okay. Lock up, you know. Lock up.
All of a sudden now, they must do this and they must do that and they must do. Young people, watch me. If they all they make that mistake, you know who can perish is all, you know.
Them, yeah.
Because
Yep.
me and my way out now, I'm looking for the other side now. Do not allow them to smart all you. Because that's what they're trying to do because they realize the only way forward for them is to get the young people with them. All you turn all your backs on them. Look out for who left out for y'all. Everybody going now. You walk into town and everybody could tell you they have this, that, and the other because they went here to study and there to study and the other place to study. Where they ever send all you? Even, I don't even know what she means.
Let me get a joke.
The lady by the Prime Minister office. All the years she worked with the man that gone. He never sent her anywhere to upgrade. Oh, but she going on about now.
Can I give you a joke?
Tell me.
I heard Sinclair Leacock, one of our listeners who listened to WeFM, told me that Sinclair Leacock was on. You know, NDP turn entertainer now and promoter, so they're promoting the big show. So all them over radio. Yeah, all them promoting. They actually going into the radio station to promote the show, right?
Yeah.
So Leacock was on WeFM promoting the show, and he was talking about, we expanded this and we expanded that, and scholarships are always there. Don't forget, because don't forget that we had. How many? Don't and people are going to university. Don't forget, we have our very own Patel Matthews and exactly and Terence Oliver who came back and ran for the ULP. And I'm thinking
NDP.
For the NDP. How is that? I'm saying to myself, this guy.
He talked about Terence Oliver on a radio station.
But I'm saying, here's the point I want to make now. Because there are many points to get from that. You want to show to the young people that Vincentians were getting access to scholarships. And the only 2 examples you could come up with are 2 young Democrats who went to study to come back to run for you.
Oh, fella.
Could you imagine that? The only example you could reach is 2 young Democrats who went away to study and left university to come back to run for you. You couldn't even...
Remember he said he left it to come back. They want some stickers on the face. Liars, and all of them faces. Take them on the faces. Vincentian, do not be fooled by these people. They have split tongues. Before you do that, all your children, all your grandchildren, and all your great-grandchildren going to suffer. They have a heavy price for it.
But before you go, let me be honest with you.
To do that.
Let me be honest with you, but before you go, let me be honest with you. I'll be very honest with you. My fear for the upcoming elections is not the young people. Because the young people...
It's the ULP people
absolutely.
not going out to vote.
Thank you very much. That's all I would say.
It's the UL people not going out to vote. They think everybody don't have a problem.
That's all I would say.
I have my problems.
That's all I would say.
But it's not enough for me to stay home and not go.
That's all I would say.
And
Thank
vote.
you very much. That's all I would say.
So if all they want to sit in all your homes and say, all you ain't going to vote because all you ain't got X, Y, or Z. All you mightn't get A, B, C, nor D. All you have a good day. I gone.
Thank you very much for your call. And always a pleasure, of course, hearing from the lady on top of the hill. I hope certainly organize the peas and them kind of stuff there for the season. All right. But our lines are still open. It's 451-7827. That's the interactive interaction line, I should say. And you can also send us your WhatsApp messages at 534-7827. That's 534-7827. But yes, Ms. Murphy said it. Built the monstrosity in Kingstown. Today we see the challenge with some of the vendors, not wanting to utilize it, but I'll appeal to those vendors to certainly, of course, do as necessary to take a break, is that? Yeah. All right, I've been advised to take a break. So we take a commercial break and then come right back. Keep it as locked in here on a Tuesday morning.
Thinking of winning the Lotto jackpot? Well, there is an easy way. Combo Play. Choose 4 numbers from 1 to 36. That's a cost of $64. Match any 4 of the 5 numbers and win the Lotto jackpot. There's Combo 6, where you purchase 6 numbers for only $12. Match any 5 of the 6 Lotto numbers and hit the jackpot. How about Combo 7? That's a purchase of 7 Lotto numbers for $42. Match any 5 of the 7 numbers and you will win the jackpot. There are also Combo 3, Combo 8, and Combo 9 Lotto plays. Visit the NLA headquarters in Pauls Avenue or WhatsApp 495-6886 for more details. Lotto, you have to be in it to win it.
Greenhouse, renovating or updating, we supply high-quality engineered hardwood flooring, luxury vinyl planks, and a wide assortment of stylish trims. We also supply wall and floor tiles and tiling-related products. How about your staircase? We have railings, posts, pickets in metal, stainless steel, wood, and glass to make your staircase a centerpiece. We offer personalized selection and shipping service from Canada to SVG. Contact Marlon on WhatsApp at 289-200-7649 or District Stairs on Facebook.
At the People's Pharmacy, we've put our mission at the center of our name. We are people-centered, and every day we renew this commitment to providing products and services that help our valued customers lead healthier and happy lives. The People's Pharmacy fills prescriptions promptly and accurately, and also offers a wide range of vitamins and supplements, plus generic medication for everything from an upset stomach to the common cold. We offer toiletries and baby care items, skin care and hair care items too. All that coupled with a friendly, knowledgeable, and efficient staff to ensure customer satisfaction every time you shop. The People's Pharmacy offers extended opening hours, 8 in the morning to 8 p.m., Mondays through Saturdays. For more information, give us a call at 456-1170. The People's Pharmacy. We go further to serve you better.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress. Just talk to the General and they will beat that price plus give you special priority delivery. Yes, General Hardware offers free island-wide delivery on most purchases. So you never have to worry about getting your goods on site on time. Plus, shopping at General Hardware is a pleasant experience with friendly, knowledgeable staff always ready to serve. What more could you wish for, huh? So come to General Hardware for proper service, lowest prices, free delivery, and see why nobody beats the General. Nobody.
Sandra, where are you going in such a hurry?
Y'all, I have so much stuff I need to buy. I need to get to town fast. Plus, it's end of month.
But what you really need to buy, so?
Well, I need to look for a swimsuit for my pool party Sunday. I need to pick up my medication. And I need some nails to fix the door. And I have to get something to eat. Oh, yes. And I need to buy some grease and go bank to get some money for all that.
But Sandra, you can get all those things at the Joshua Center.
For true?
Yes, girl, everything.
The Joshua Center has everything for you, from clothes to decor, and even grab a drink and lunch too. It's all here, just for you.
Customize your kitchen exactly how you like it. At Jake's Kitchen, we supply natural British hardwood cabinets for all purposes, like over the hood and standard wall cabinets with wine and plate racks and different accessories to choose from. And Jake's Kitchen has the very best white and stainless steel microwaves, stoves, and fridges with water dispenser. And we've got items for other parts of the house too. Give your kitchen kitchen that posh Hollywood look for the best price in the land at Jake's Kitchen. Open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mondays to Fridays and until 12 Saturdays. Jake's Kitchen, upstairs Caribbean Glass, Grenville Street. Call 456-2126. Email sales.caribglass@vincisurf.com.
I hear that Gunsam's master paint is great and the quality is really good. You know anything about that?
Last year, I bought paint at Gunsam's for the inside of the house and it looks great.
Do they have paint for the outside too?
Yes, Gunsam's has paint for the inside, outside, concrete and galvanized roof and floors.
You convinced me. I think I'm going to try master paint. I sure hope I get a good price.
Well, you won't be disappointed. They have 15% win right now.
Only 15% discount? I could get higher discount somewhere else.
Hold on, friend. Remember, all discounts are not alike. It's what you pay that counts. Go to Gunsam's for the best quality paints.
Visit Gunsam's Hardware on Granby Street between the NIS car park and KCC.
Play for and win even more. National Lottery says more cash in store. 4 numbers from 0 to 9. In $5,000 with $1 in line. Base 4 and back it's a 2. There'll be lots of cash waiting for you. Choose for Monday to Saturday. Go get your tickets, it's so easy to play. When you play for, you win even more.
Welcome back, and you're listening to 88.2 FM The Sound. We're talking about service excellence in the tourism industry. Let's take a caller.
Good morning. I'm Jackie from this agent at Holiday Villa Hotel for the past 25 years.
25 years. Great. So, Jackie, tell us, what makes an excellent front desk agent?
I love my job. As a service provider, I'm always polite to customers. I'm very helpful and I smile a lot. You know, visitors as well as locals feel very welcome when you treat them with respect and concern for their welfare.
Very true. We all need to look at it that way.
Yes, you see, tourism is everyone's business. You've got to live it, love it, embrace it.
Tourism is for me. Tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business. Yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
Accidents can happen in the blink of an eye. There can be injury or even death. Protect yourself today. Call Century Insurance at 456-2247 or Beckway 458-3855 or contact our representative, Mr. Jason Sergeant in the Bayshore Mall in Beckway 454-4260. Protect your investment from passenger liability, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, floods, hurricanes, contractors all risk, and more. We cover all classes and types of motor vehicles and heavy equipment. Century Insurance, upstairs, the First St. Vincent Bank building in Kingstown. Call us today and let us protect you. Call our Kingstown office at 456-2247 or Beckway 458-3855 or contact our representative, Mr. Jason Sergeant in the Bayshore Mall in Beckway at 454-4260. Century Insurance. We protect you.
It's fast. No waiting. Easy to play. You can win instantly. Available at all Lotto agents from Tuesday, November 21st.
Saturday, November 11th, the Victoria Park comes alive for the biggest gospel show to ever come to the shores of SVG. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Gospel Explosion Mega Concert featuring the Queen of Gospel. Vincy International Gospel Sensation, Bridget Blucher. And one of Trinidad's biggest gospel sensations, Blessed Messenger. This is going to be one powerful event. Get your $25 and $35 tickets now and get ready to sing out your heart. Get ready to make a joyful noise inside Victoria Park. SVG Gospel Explosion Mega Concert is brought to you by New Life Promotion and Andrews Bascom and proudly sponsored by Digicel, Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Vitamals, Husky Water, Love View, Gate 3, Zest Cola, Juicy, Dinabrigas, and Frosty Dream.
All right, and it happens tonight. All right, postponed from last Saturday night because of the amount of rain that we had in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but definitely on this evening, 5 p.m. the start time. So make sure you get in as early as possible and get that blessing that is so very much needed. All right, well, we're on full flight, and Sienna asked me to take a commercial break. And for those folks who are looking at us live on our Facebook feed, you realize that in our presence this morning is Prime Minister Dr. Ralph E. Gonsalves. Jim Gonsalves, good morning to you.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning to you and Sion and all our listeners at home and abroad.
Pleasure to have you on the inside this morning. It's been a while,
Yeah, I thought I'll drop in. I've called in on the radio many times.
Correct.
But I decided to drop in for about half an hour this morning. I hope Sean at API listening and the other guys at 705, hopefully. Yes. So we can all follow what's going on. You are taping this, presumably?
Yes, certainly.
Yes, so that it can always be replayed. Now, I've come on to speak about a few things. First of all, my travel arrangements and the work schedule for the next few days into next week. Today I have cabinet meeting at 9 o'clock. Usually it's on Wednesdays. Okay. But I wouldn't be here tomorrow. And over the last few days, we have been having a cabinet committee on the economy with all the ministers and all the relevant public servants, technical persons, with the draft estimates, both recurrent and capital, in preparation for the debate before Christmas, hopefully, on the estimates. Okay. Looks as though, given the schedule of events, we might have to do the budget presentation itself in January. But that's once we get the estimates out of the way, all the preparations will be made in respect of the appropriation bill. And there's a procedure under the Finance Administration Act for the continued funding of the government. So there's no problem there. But I want to get the estimates out before Christmas. That's what we have promised the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines on an ongoing basis. What happens is this: around November, December, it's a packed schedule of all sorts of things, meetings in the regional and the global setting on very important matters. Because that's what happens after the UN General Assembly in September. And a lot of these meetings are driven by the requisites of the North Atlantic and one or two other countries, during these critical winter months for them. We part of the world, so we have to
definitely, yes.
We have to work, adjust, and everything. Thanks very much. I'm getting some coffee. This is my second cup for the morning. I'd one at 4:30. The
4:30, you said it.
Yeah, man.
That's you up at that time?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so I'm having the cabinet today. I leave this afternoon for Barbados, where I'm going to catch a flight. Miami, Saudi Arabia. There's the first CARICOM Saudi Arabia summit. And I'll talk a little bit about it. And I'm making arrangements. As of yesterday, Angie, my permanent secretary, Angie Jackson, has been working her magic with the people from Qatar, the ambassador in Venezuela, the Qatari ambassador in Venezuela, and with the government in Qatar. Once I'm in Saudi Arabia, I'm nearby. There are some matters which we had put to the Qatari government, the Qatari fund. So I'd like just to hop over there. The meetings in Saudi Arabia are the 16th and 17th. So we'd arrive on the 15th, because I have to overnight in Miami. Okay. And At least that's the schedule I'm given up to yesterday evening. And leave Saudi Arabia on the evening of the 17th for Qatar, and have a full day in Qatar on the 18th with all the meetings which we have arranged with the state authorities there. And hopefully I can get a flight late out of Qatar on the same Saturday, the 18th, to get to London, presumably midnight after midnight, and then to take the flight, the Sunday flight, to come down, which means I'll have maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't know how many in London. At the airport, I'll go to an airport hotel, shower, have a hour, 2 hours nap, and then be on back home to St. Vincent for Sunday, the 19th. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss Miss Lee's funeral in Park Hill. Well, that's on Sunday. But I'll write something and ask my son to go and deliver it for me. I spoke to the family already, very close to the family. Well, it's Park Hill.
Yes.
And then Monday, we continue our discussion on the budget. There are some things which some ministries who have appeared before us already, they have to provide some additional information. And on Tuesday next week, we have a meeting very early of the Finance Committee, the Standing Committee on Finance, in relation to 2 supplementary estimates and 2 supplementary appropriation bills, which we are taking to Parliament on Thursday, the 23rd. So that's the 21st. And when I finish that, I'll continue the discussions on the budget for 2024. On Wednesday next week would be Cabinet, and Thursday is Parliament. The 2 supplementary estimates and 2 supplementary appropriation bills which we are going to Parliament with. One bundle has to do with special warrants which have been issued for urgent and unforeseeable business. And those have to go to Parliament as a matter of course under the Finance Administration Act,
okay,
and under the constitutional arrangements. But one of the supplementary appropriation bill has to do with about $78.2 million. 74 of it has to do with funding which we have to provide on the port. This is not new monies. Because what had happened is this: the port is moving at such a rapid pace,
very much so,
that they're spending more money
more quicker
than
Yes.
and Camilo had pointed that out, and I had pointed that out in the estimates that we may, in the last appropriation bill, that we may have to come to Parliament with a supplementary, depending on the pace at which they move. But that is funding which is already there.
Good.
But there's a 4.2 million, which is a new appropriation for, we put in a bid, and I've been advised we have been successful with the bid. This is what this 4.2 is, a bid to purchase the building of the bank, the First St. Vincent Bank.
Okay.
So that the government would own that building on the right-hand side, because we already own the building on the left-hand side, the juicy, in the entering of the city.
Exactly.
From the windward side. So, and then other bills before Parliament, that I had indicated before, some had to do with increased penalties for guns and ammunition, for illegal firearms and ammunition. At the moment, there are three categories of firearms. There are the usual firearms, those which are restricted and those which are prohibited. Right. Normally, the firearms that people will have, for which people will get 3-4 years for possession of not having a license. Of course, each case turns on its own merits. Some there might be a technical possession, and the circumstances the person gets a lesser sentence. But we had increased the penalty from 1 year to 7 years on the advice of the Court of Appeal. We had come to more or less the median side of the punishment. But other countries have moved on, and the suggestion is being made by the judiciary and prosecutors and other people in the society that we should do that. But we're doing that, as I announced in Parliament, announced in my Independence Day speech, with an amnesty, so that you have them. We're going to give you some time to turn in your gun, but there'll be higher penalties. So persons have to realize that. The Commissioner of Police and the Attorney General are working out the modalities and processes in relation to the amnesty, and there will be announcements in relation to that. There's an announcement. There's going to be some increased penalties to particular sexual offenses. Some of them, the penalties are already very steep. Some of them being modernized. There is an overall review of the whole area of sexual offenses. But we're dealing with the penalties now in the existing law, because as often with some groups of consultants, advisors who may come from other parts of the world, sometimes you will find them infusing the review, the amendments they want to put, with some notions which do not accord with the values of most of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So all those things have to be sifted out very carefully, and so on and so forth. So we're dealing with the penalties. There are a couple of other bills, but those are the central ones which I'm talking about. There is a regulation to come regarding tint of vehicles. The nature of the regulations would require, in my view, I've advised the Attorney General, some discussion among the public, and they, particularly so because these are done by executive act through regulations, so they wouldn't come to Parliament for debate. So in the absence of that, I would, because they're done under regulations under the existing Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, the Parent Act, so that we'd like motorists and other citizens to have a reflection, because it's an area in which you can see, depending on how narrowly or widely the regulations are drawn, and in specific circumstances you may have some controversies, and it is good for a draft to be put not as the final document, but for consultation and feedback from the public. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of feedback and a lot of discussion, as it should be in a free and democratic society. But there's security implications. Yes. Why is it that the government is moving to address the question of tint?
Absolutely.
Now, so you would notice the schedule over the next few days, very punishing, and well, the last few days too, and the last few weeks and months. Yesterday, for instance, and I want to make this point, I had to do a number of matters. I had to receive the South African ambassador, which was a very formal thing. From the Maria Holder Memorial Trust, the same entity, which is headquartered in Barbados, which worked with us on the MRI and which is working with us on a few other things, including the proposed modern Louis Bonnet home out at Glen. And of course, Jimmy alone could have gone. But the thing is this organization has been working with us so well that I thought that it is important for me to be present with the persons, including a family member from the Maria Holder Trust. In fact, as soon as the ambulances were delivered to me, one was pressed immediately into use on an emergency. So that's what the schedule is. As you are aware, the public is aware that we signed an agreement before, a soft loan of $16 million with the Saudi fund. And those related to health facilities, and $6 million related to health facilities, and $10 million to the educational, cultural, artistic production, and the 2 satellite hubs, one at Peterborough and one at Trumaka. My estimate is that those would probably get going about the middle of next year, because we have to do, well, those have been signed and they were taken to Parliament. And we have to complete the designs. They're in that phase now. And then we have to go to international tender in respect of construction. In relation to one would be in South Rivers. So for the sum of money for the National Artistic Cult Production Hub is $10 million, both the hub and the 2 satellites ones. The central health facility under the $6 million would be the modern health center in, we just opened one just over $500,000, which is a temporary facility. The people are born with some equanimity. The old one, which was there, we patched it up until, you can't patch up something beyond the particular stage. But the one in the old clinic under the same project and have it as a health and wellness facility, gym, and educational work in the area of public health. And when we are finished with the health center in the modern one in South Rivers, the one which we have just built for $500,000, we'd use it, the community talking about, for geriatric purposes, for elderly folk and so on, to do things like a kind of one of these golden years facilities. It's an excellent facility, actually. The design built entirely by labor from South Rivers and supervised and Marcus James and his team did the building. They all put in all the construction work, everything, electrical, paint, everything. No, we are going for additional sums of monies from Saudi Arabia. Soft loans, 20 years, 2%, which is very good money.
Very good.
And what I'm trying to finalize, and we will sign a memorandum there. The committee, I received information yesterday evening that the committee for the committee of the fund has done the approvals of what we asked. We had discussions and we had come to some conclusion as to what we will do. And so the subcommittee has done the approvals, but we approve by the time we'll sign the memorandum sometime in early December. They'll do the approvals and then we'll get to take them to Parliament. We'll do the signing. Subsequently, they'll come here or send them, and we get it signed in the way in which we had signed the $16 million one. But the areas which we're looking for some additional funding is in home repair and reconstruction. Some residue still from La Soufrière, the eruption, but also, generally speaking, a program for the poor, and especially the elderly poor, through the Lives to Live program, which is a broad program touching and concerning the poor and the elderly. Then we're going to do some rehabilitation of some additional primary and secondary schools, and to do a construction of a TVET center down in Union Island. And East St. George doesn't have a secondary school.
That's correct.
So we want to do one in Brighton.
We need one.
We need,
we need one. We need one. East St. George, we need one.
And then there's some health facilities which we want to do in Caliaqua, in Beira, in Port Elizabeth, and Major Sinclair Leacock will be pleased because I told him we'll include SHAPS. The thing is this: the ministry, the officials in the Ministry of Health do not think that one is that the area of SHAPS is well served because of the hospital at Kingstown with the accident and emergency and the big Kingstown clinic.
Okay.
I don't share that view of the Ministry of Health. Because I think that there are certain matters which you will need to have people still go down to the hospital,
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
But there are some things you need to deal with the clinic. The other thing which is important, in significant communities like SHAPS, he who knows only health knows no health. Government, it's always good to have a presence of the state in a number of important communities. In the old days, this is why you need a wide perspective on these things. In every village, you had a post office.
Yes. Yeah.
But people hardly post letters anymore.
Exactly.
Right.
People in Sandy Bay,
Stubbs.
you know, they have
Peppermint.
these facilities for these purposes, for public health issues too, and we're looking at some further support for some broad community type facilities, you know.
If I may, Pierre, man,
yes,
and I want to stop
let
you.
me just finish. And in Qatar, the major, apart from a number of other things, from a funding standpoint, we had put in a request for the Qatar fund for a laboratory, for a modern laboratory in the field of science, technology, and innovation, to do it just outside of the university center's boundaries, in that land owned by the state, going up to French's now on the left side. Right. Some things have to be finalized there, because there are one or two persons on the land for quite some time, and that has to be resolved. As always, we resolve these things very amicably and very favorably to persons. So that facility would be part of the community college, and for the expansion of post-secondary and tertiary educational work in science, technology, and innovation. Sorry, Sion, you were going to ask something. I just wanted to finish.
That's fine, because you wrapped it up. I wanted to know these projects that you've been mentioning. You said the artistic hub and so forth will be middle of next year or thereabouts.
Yes.
But the bigger projects, the school in East St. George, the clinic in Sharps, what's the timeline on beginning those? First of all, premise, and secondly, we are looking for monies. You're finding it where you need to do some of these projects. Some of them are some very concessional terms. My question to you is, for in situation, where would that put us in the short term and in the long term?
It's manageable. The economy is growing.
Okay.
And we're able to service our debts. One of the problems is not the debt situation I'm worried about, because I say we are manageable. And what is happening? Remember this, Sion. If I were to have money in the budget for home repair and some low-income houses, I had to get that from local loans.
Right.
And for me to borrow money locally is 6%. And usually by bonds, which I get 7-year bonds. Now I'm getting 20-year money at 2%.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Very much.
So you're replacing one kind of indebtedness with a cheaper form of indebtedness. Okay. Some of it, of course, would be new additional, but it's accommodated by the growth which we are having in the economy. The problem which we are having is public and private sector capacity. We're already seeing it. You take, for instance, we have the money to build Anglican school, a new Anglican school, a modern school, primary school.
Same location?
No.
Okay.
No. Wrong lands to the outside of Victoria Park.
Okay.
No. This is a project, 5 million. are also mobile. They go to Antigua, they go to Barbados, Trinidad, St. Kitts, BVI.
All up in those places.
Yes,
right.
BVI.
Right.
Yes. So, and that's the problem. And sometimes you see it with even a smaller contractor who's building 3 houses. He might have a pool of 15 workers. And at no time, you may find more than 3 or 4 on your project because they are assessing how they're going to put their workers. And sometimes you may see 10 workers on your on one project. On the next project, there are 3 people. And this is the challenge. And I say materials to aggregate. Bragg says stretch with the Raboka material issue. Sand. You know, it's a real problem. So here I am mobilizing large sums of money. This is why when somebody wants to have a quarry and some persons saying, no, that quarry can't go for reasons which are not, if you have genuinely good environmental reasons and the environmental, the ameliorative measures, environmental challenges, those measures cannot reasonably be taken. Well, I could understand that you say no, but that is not feasible. But there are some persons who, as soon as they hear there's any change to the landscape, they jump on it and they infuse it with politics, either politics and very into one. Invariably, who have big houses don't have their houses built and ain't concerned about quarry material for anybody else's house or any project. In the case of some very big projects, like the port, $650 million. We have to say to them that if you need certain kinds of materials and we don't have them available, please import them. Do you like for instance, we got $20 million for the sand, from the sand dredging, right, for a particular purpose, to do the fill. We got the money. Remember the opposition on that?
Of course.
People who don't understand anything about the environment jump on it. And we had all the studies, and everybody, those who oppose, in the face of the science, that will just boil down as people say, like Baji. The bad inside of the pot. You got the time is heat. You see so much Baji inside there. Can you eat Baji and then you see it boil down? Man, this is why we are expanding more and more technical and vocational education, and the national vocations joining with other entities from overseas, the European Union, and you would remember when we passed the SSDA, the Sector Skills Development Agency bill in Parliament. The opposition opposed it. They say, we're setting up such an institution for. You're just creating an institution, so why an education officer can't deal with that? But they didn't have the vision to see how you have to certify people, including people who are who have learned their trade through their old apprenticeship system. And this is where you have, in a sense, if you're a leader and you can't see around a corner, metaphorically, you don't work the name as a leader.
I agree.
And this is why, again, leadership caravan of the ULP moves. And metaphorically, barking dogs can't stop the caravan going.
Well, I was about to caution you about your first metaphor, because you might say headline, Ralph claims to be God and says he could see around corner. You know, so I was about to caution you.
Well, the point is, it's not me who says so, you know. Not the comrade says so, you know. Is because when I say, let me tell you what is going to happen if this isn't done. And people call in on the radio stations and say, well, Ralph, tell them, so you know the comrade is around corner. You know, that's again, our people have rich metaphors.
Yes.
Meaning that you have leadership foresight.
Yes.
And nothing is doable, among other things, without quality leadership. So now I want to speak briefly on something else, and I have to go because I have to be there for the cabinet, and the guys would be, men and women would be gathering at the moment. And I have to make sure that some documentation, which I got up this morning dealing with at 4:30, that my secretarial staff and the permanent secretary at the office, Angie, that they have them in order to go to cabinet. Because sometimes there's some last minute things. It's in addition to having to have a strong mind, you have to be physically be able to work to work long hours at a particular level. No lazy man could do this job. Are you doing, you know? No man who don't have a core of beliefs can really do this job properly. What I'm doing, you can't be a fake. You can't be vacuous. You come with a whole set of very general kind of sounding things. Like how Friday, there's his stock in trade is vacuity. VACUITY, just talking general streams of consciousness, kind of a way of talking and so on. Sometimes I even see Licoctors roll the eye and watch me and smile when the vacuity is in full when the vacuity is in full flight.
Full display.
When the vacuity in the parliament. And sometimes when I point it out, he would say, Mao, you're troublesome, so you know, in jest. In jest. Now it's amazing how a wrong headline by the Caribbean Media Corporation stringer, or whoever whether stringer or representative in St. Vincent could distort something. At a press conference, I outlined that on Saturday evening, because on Saturday, I was on the road from 9:30 in the morning. I went out at Argyle to meet some investors who were on their way through the country. And I left there after 1 o'clock. And I didn't know it was going to take so long. I just went home, changed, and went straight to South Evans for the clinic, opening of the clinic. And then when I finished the clinic, I was at the airport for 7 o'clock the evening to get a ride to go to Venezuela. and I outlined that I was going to Venezuela and I will coming back hopefully on Sunday evening, which I did. I said, I don't want anybody in the press conference to ask me what I'm going to Venezuela for, and I wouldn't answer. But I spoke about Guyana and Venezuela. I spoke about Gaza. But that I'm going to Venezuela to meet Maduro over Guyana. I didn't say that. You see? And I wouldn't confirm or deny whether I met President Maduro, at least not at this time, on this matter. What I did say in the press conference is that I will urge a conversation between Venezuela and Guyana. Because when people are talking, the rhetoric will not be highly charged, and there would be less of a temptation to do things which may disturb peace. History has taught that.
Yes. Exactly.
No. I said, I can't remember if I said it then or at other places. I said Venezuela is interesting because they said so publicly that Guyana says we are not interested in any conversation with Venezuela on the issue of the border controversy. We are going to the International Court of Justice. No. The parliament in Guyana passed a resolution, 65-0. Among other things, said that the government of Guyana shouldn't talk to the government of Venezuela on this issue. It didn't say that they shouldn't talk with each other on other issues. For instance, it would be useful, in my view, for a conversation to be held, I don't know at what level, between the governments. Could be at the highest level, could be at lower levels, on that we all support the settlement of a dispute, of any controversy, national law. They may have different interpretations as to the application of the relevant law. But first, international principle, legal principles, international law. That initiate by themselves or in conjunction with anybody else, any force in relation to this dispute.
Very important. Yes.
So you can talk. You can. Then there are other subjects you can talk about. They all belong to the Amazon Cooperation Treaty, along with Brazil and Colombia and Ecuador and Peru. They can talk about matters there. Because I read carefully the resolution from the parliament, in Ghana. Issue. between two sides on matters concerning international legal principles, law, no use of force or threat, no indication in the email with conversation. Even though Guyana is going to the ICJ and Venezuela says that they don't recognize the ICJ to deal with this dispute, they recognize the Guyana says, want to see what we want an affirmation of the 1899 arbitration award. So you notice different legal, all of them are making reference to a legal source for their contention.
Mm-hmm.
No, if one side, let's say they have a conversation and Venezuela raises the issue, Guyana just say, listen, I told you, I hear you on that, but I'm not talking to you on that. I'm before the court. If you want to talk, come to the court with me. You see the point?
Yes, definitely.
You see the point I'm making?
Yes.
Guyana and Venezuela are friends of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're our brothers and sisters. To CELAC. St. Vincent and Grenadines is the pro tempore president of CELAC.
Right.
I have known historically how imperialism could manipulate people in one way or the other, And imperialist forces, not just the center of imperialism itself. And I have known historically how things can get out of hand easily. The 1914-18 war. I've never read a book on the 1914-18 war which shows that there was any reason for this war. People lost their heads. All the contending parties. I've also seen in Iran in 1953 an agent provocateur used by imperialism to ignite something which led to the overthrow of the Mossadegh government and the return of the Shah of Iran. I can go through other historical examples. Now, on all matters, you have to have information. You have to interrogate the information. You have to have knowledge. You have to have understanding, and you have to apply your heart to wisdom in making determinations. I have very high regard for President Ofanali and his team, and also high regard for Nicolas Maduro. Now, CARICOM historically has stood with Guyana, and again reaffirmed recently its position about the inviolability of the territorial boundaries of Guyana. Well, there is a contestation. But the contestation, Guyana is going to the ICJ. Venezuela said they don't recognize the ICJ to deal with this dispute. No. The United States of America doesn't recognize the ICJ in dealing with any disputes. But clearly, when there was a contestation, when Venezuela said that the ICJ didn't have jurisdiction to deal with this matter, Guyana says yes. They went to the court says we have jurisdiction. With having jurisdiction in a dispute where one party doesn't recognize the court, as having jurisdiction. There are issues there. There's some countries which sign on to the jurisdiction of the court to give advisory opinions, but not conclusive judgments.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of different variations. Now, I have tried to read as much as I can on this. We are having, today actually, on the 14th, Guyana has an application before the court, the ICJ, on matters touching and concerning the referendum which Venezuela is going to have on December the 3rd. And I believe that on this preliminary matter, Venezuela is probably going to be there. Does this have to do with you? I'm reading what they have said in public.
Right.
But they have said also publicly they don't recognize the court, the jurisdiction of the court. And they have time still to put in what is called counter memorials to the case put in by Guyana. But I'm not addressing those issues here. I'm just giving you for public education. I'm saying people can meet and talk. Guyana say, and the Guyana Parliament said that the government mustn't talk to Maduro and the Venezuelans about the matter, the controversy. They didn't say mustn't talk to Maduro about anything else. Maduro says, I want to talk to Guyana about this within the terms of the 1966 agreement. So if they have a conversation, Guyana say, listen, I'm not talking to you about that. But if Venezuela say, well, this is our view. So I'm prepared to talk about, for example, that we must all follow international law, international legal principles. None of us must threaten violence or use violence against each other. And there may be other things you're talking about. You notice the maturity which I'm bringing to this matter. This is not the discussion which you normally will get from some people who are interested in taking particular positions for reasons not connected to the issues themselves. But I state again that CARICOM, of which St. Vincent is part, always affirm and reaffirm the inviolability of Guyana's boundaries. You see, the problem is this: Guyana has its boundaries in its constitution. Venezuela has boundaries also in its constitution. And part of that has to do with part of that land is in both constitutions, as I understand it. And they're neighbors. So, I just wanted to, but I see reports. Somebody sent me something from Trinidad, the news item that Ralph is going to Venezuela to resolve, to talk to Maduro to seek to intervene in this thing and so on. I didn't tell anybody that. I expressly said that if you, in advance, I'm telling you that if you ask me any question as to why you're going to Venezuela, I'm not going to answer you. No, it is reasonable for a journalist to say, well, he didn't say that. So that reasonably we suspect he might talk to the government about this matter. But you can't say that I said so. I didn't say so. I'm just looking for precision, and I'm not having angels dancing on the head of a pin. I'm just being precise as to what I say. And look, I've been a political activist for 55 years. I've been prime minister for almost 23 years. I've been in all kinds of discussions all over the world in all sorts of things. Next year, June, is 50 years that I have a PhD in the area of political economy. I've read, I've studied issues. I've been a lawyer. I've been a trained lawyer. I've practiced all jurisdictions throughout the Caribbean. Even if I say so myself, or most people will say, well, Ralph has the knowledge, not just information. We can get on the internet, but you have to interrogate the information to have knowledge. Then you have to advance certain hypotheses of causation in order to arrive at understanding. And then before you make decisions, you have to apply your heart to wisdom. Not only the social sciences say so, but the Hebrew books of the Psalms, of Ecclesiastes and Proverbs also made those very points I'm making. I'm just distilling them for the purposes of the analysis. And I wouldn't allow anybody to distort what I'm saying or what I'm doing on a matter of extraordinary importance. It could reasonably be said that I have an obligation not to stand idly by and not seek to enhance international law, peace, and an absence of the threat or the use of force, the initiation.
But if such is to happen, I mean, what is the implication for this region, Prime Minister?
You mean if there is war?
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. That's why I tell you I have an obligation. That's why I tell you that. So I wanted to come in to deal with my schedule, the issues which I'm dealing with. By the way, you notice the number of years that I have been spending on seeking to build relations with the Arab world, the Arab League,
the big players, big economic powerhouses globally.
I've been spending, because these relationships cannot be episodic. They cannot be transactional. They have to be strategic. And you have to approach these relationships with a patience and a calm. Knowing from the time I'm a boy in Connery that sun brightens stone and all the river burns.
Finally, Prime Minister, before you go, and you spoke extensively in the whole matter of the consultations that are taking place with regards to the laying of the estimates. You mentioned the whole matter of the growth that is taking place in the economy. Your independent speech, I as a matter of fact, termed it as a budget speech because of the fact there were so many goodies. I mean, the increase of the threshold with regards to PAYE, $20 million plus in scholarships, nurses, and wages, of course, the benefits there. But on the contrary, we have the opposition, and through Fitz-Bramble, it's on social media, saying that the growth of within the economy, basically, the whole matter of the inflation, and he didn't say it exactly like that, but he had scenarios where price increases were.
If Bramble is an economist, Bramble will understand that when the numbers are done, both the input and output numbers are done in relation to the calculation of gross domestic product. And he will know whether the growth numbers are done at current prices, whether they are done, the real economic growth is calculated at constant prices. I mean, if he wants to have a discussion on this matter, I don't know if he knows how GDP numbers are constructed and the various variations. So that you only get this attempt to dumb down the numbers when the numbers are good. When the numbers are not so good, you don't get that talk.
Yeah. They cherry pick which data they want to
yes.
explain.
Exactly. So they I've heard Sinclair Leacock said he has a different tack on it. He said this growth is driven a lot by construction, and construction is not tradable. But he doesn't address the duality and the duality of the phenomenon of construction is that it creates infrastructure for the production of tradable goods and services. The Argyle International Airport, it created jobs. You don't consider that everything, but it's because of that you have sandals, for instance. You know, sandals is being constructed and it is adding to the economy, but you're not going to get 800 and 1,000 permanent jobs unless you construct it.
Exactly.
So there is a duality about it. And the additional question which you have to address with construction, apart from the duality, which is it's a dialectical concept here, you know, he's thinking in a very mechanistic way. He has to think dialectically. That's why I talk about the duality of it. And you always have to examine the duality of phenomena philosophically and methodologically, not in a mechanistic, single-dimensional either-or way, as he's seeking to do. But the additional dimension of construction, apart from the duality, the basic duality which I just pointed out, which is obvious to everybody. We're trying to take people's mind from the obvious duality. The bulk of the money on construction is not money from inside of the economy itself. It's money that comes from outside, because he's used in a closed economy model to deal with the question of non-tradable. But the $550 million from Sandals investing there comes from overseas, none come from St. Vincent.
Exactly.
The $650 million, the bulk of it at the port, comes from a grant from the European Union, a grant from the British government, $36 million, $110 million US dollars. All these are US currency, US dollars from China, from CDB, and 60-something million US from the Exim Bank of the Republic of China on Taiwan. So that foreign money that comes in here, that foreign exchange that comes in here, important investment monies, which creates economic activities. I mean,
Simple as that.
so he has two errors. First of all, he ignores what I call the duality of construction. And then his model begins with a closed economic model, a closed economy, because he's doing so for what the social sciences would say for heuristic purposes. And they can look up this word, HEURISTIC. HEURISTIC, heuristic purposes. Look it up. Meaning for the purely analytic purposes. But when you then say, but the money, the bulk of the money comes from, you can't use the analysis only as a closed economic model. You have to look at it open. Then, of course, he will say, yes, well, we have to do that, but that involves a different level of analysis. I say, let's do the analysis. Then what happens? When you do the analysis, the money comes in, and he will say, but a lot of that money goes back out for cement and raw materials of one kind. I said, yes. But there is value spent on matters here, like, for instance, $20 million on sand from the dredging. There's labor. There's technology. There's a local value added component in the electricity, in the water used. Let's have the totality of the analysis. You see the point?
I'm with you.
But the guys try to kerfuffle people. But these things are, and it must not be done in the shameless way. At least in the case of Leacock will say, I'm dealing with this as a closed model. I'm holding all other variables constant. I said, okay, you're holding all other variables constant. So you're looking at a one-dimensional thing. Let us move the constancy of the variables and look at the totality in a dynamic sense now, Sinclair. And then you get the analysis which I'm giving you. In the case of what you tell me, this is just pure demagoguery about how gross domestic product figures are constructed. And I believe Leacock didn't, because he knows better. But he went on a particular area where he says, of course I'm holding all these other things constant, and this is what I said, but let's move the boundaries and let's talk about the duality of construction, and let us talk about the external dimension additionally to the duality. You're with me? And what I've said here, any ordinary person in the street would understand and say, well, what the comrade saying, making a whole heap of sense.
Well, PM Gonzalez, it's certainly a pleasure. We're going
Yes,
on.
we kept you way over.
Yes.
So thank you so much for
Thanks.
dropping in.
All the best.
All right, all the best.
All right, so there you have it. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, of course, paying us a visit here this morning, and certainly was a pleasure having him.
You know, because Dr. Gonzalez came for a specific purpose, there was not a lot done, because we knew he was supposed to leave 45 minutes ago.
Exactly.
And I noticed there were some questions there about any updates regarding the modern new parliament and so on and so forth.
Right.
But we wanted to give Professor Gonzalez, a chance to address the issues that they came to deal with, and so he did that. And this morning was quite full, quite detailed, as he prepares to travel later on this afternoon for a couple of days, returning on Sunday. We thank him very much for dropping by, Denny. And I didn't see Fitz's post, and I saw it, but I didn't look at it.
Okay.
And like we just said in passing this morning, you know, and Dr. Gonzalez put it in a different way. He said it's pure demagoguery. I understand that Fitz is trying to get the attention of those around him in his own party, because they seem not to be paying too much attention to him at all. And so this for me is just an attempt. But we thank Dr. Gonzalez this morning. We had a very extended period of time. Extended period this morning. It's 9:30. It's interesting that he addressed the situation the way he did regarding Guyana
and Venezuela.
Yes, that your parliament resolved that you not have any discussions on that particular issue.
Exactly.
And you can't fault the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela with its recognition or lack thereof of some of these international agencies, because some of these agencies have been weaponized by some greater powers to get at Venezuela, and so they recognize that, and their response to that is to treat these agencies in a particular way. So I'm appreciative of the manner in which Dr. Gonzalez spoke to the Venezuela Guyana issue, and hopefully that puts into context, or at least gives Vincentian an understanding of where St. Vincent and Grenadines stands on that particular conflict, being a member of CARICOM with Guyana and having very close ties with Guyana from one country to the other, but also having close ties with Venezuela. We are friends of both of them, and the truth is our position is consistent. The same way we urge mature diplomacy between Ukraine and Russia, the same way we urge mature diplomacy between with the Palestinian conflict. Right. The same way we're saying that the OAS, you can't weaponize the OAS to exclude countries within our hemisphere. That's our position. Our position has always been one of mature diplomacy and engagement, because as Dr. Gonzalez said, once you engage, once you're talking, the threat of heightened tensions is lowered significantly. And so that's our position, and it's always been consistent.
All right. Well, as you know, we've gone way over time here, on a Tuesday morning. We thank you ever so much, of course, for being part of the very special edition of The Scoop here. And thanks to all who listened, those who followed us on our live Facebook feed, and whatever medium, of course, on our website at star983fm.com. It certainly has been a pleasure. Have yourself a good one.
We got to thank the individuals who joined us on NBC Radio as well,
of course.
And those who joined us on API as well. Yes. So we thank them for joining us. They probably have already gone because PM left. Right. But thank you so much for being a part of our program this morning.
Very well. And on that note, that's where we wrap it up. Continue to keep it dialed here on The Star.
It's fast. No waiting. Easy to play. You can win instantly. Available all of